because you don't have another option. So competition is definitely probably playing a major factor here in Vegas. Fort Meade, major military town. These are all pretty much major military towns where the base is pretty much the hub of that city or that area. And not only that, they're going to be very military centric, so they're going to want to support that program. These are the same exchange sales trends. Pretty flat. Yeah, my thing is messing up again. But the overall sales don't change that much. It's gonna be pretty consistent over the last 10 years. You're not gonna find the dips in the growth. It's been a pretty flat sales curve. COVID definitely impacted military bases and retail numbers. Military is always, I don't know if you guys have ever worked at anything in government related, but they're always going to be a decade behind everybody else when it comes to technology. Same with retail. Like for instance, commissaries just started implementing click-to-go shopping this year. They just started grocery delivery this year. So yeah. COVID definitely made an impact. And I would say for the better because it forced them to get into technology that they would not have if it wasn't for COVID. So let's look at the military patron. I said I was going to tell you who was now eligible. So let me read that real quick.
Yeah, because I noticed like, say for instance, you don't even have to be an active person in order to purchase things online in the exchange before you have the active duty.
Right. So Title 10 in 2018 changed and again in 2020. And I'm going to read what they did, okay? Check it out.
Like now you can just be a veteran.
You can be a veteran. You can be an employee on a base and you can shop online. I'm telling you, they're driving people to the e-commerce. They've opened up that web platform to pretty much everybody that they legally could, right? Then still somehow be connected to the military. And so you're right. Let me see. You can be a Purple Heart recipient, a former POW, a Medal of Honor recipient. Individuals, you can be a caregiver of a veteran and still shop online in that online platform. Let's see. I'm looking for the official list because I want to show you how much it's expanded in the last few years. You can be active, reserve, or retired uniformed services members. You can be a Medal of Honor recipient, a wage Marine personnel, retired wage Marine personnel, something, right? DOD and Coast Guard civilian employees can shop there. Full-time employees of non-federal entities hired in the United States and assigned to work on a U.S. military installation service based overseas. Certain military members of foreign nations can shop there now. Federal government civilian employees who reside on military installations. Authorized family members, so that's immediate spouse and children, okay? Delayed entry program participants, veterans with service-connected disabilities we talked about, primary family caregivers of veterans enrolled in the Department of Veterans Affairs program, U.S. citizens, employees of firms under contract to the DOD, all honorably discharged veterans. Every one of them, every single veteran can shop online via the exchanges. Right? All of them. That's over 11. Let me check. I'm gonna put this slide is on here before I say it. Yeah, so let me run the number because I don't want to say it wrong. 1.3 million people. All right? So family members, the Guard and Reserve, retirees, active duty, and DoD civilian employees. And this number is February 2020. The slide says 2019. But it's gone up even more because they made another change in Title 10 in 2020. So that number is higher than it was. This is going to be online. I'm sorry, this is going to be in store. In store. Online is going to be even more, okay? Because they opened that up to all veterans, which is amazing to me. This used to be such an isolated and protected benefit. Like if you didn't have that card, you couldn't get on base and you couldn't get those benefits. Now they're trying to save the benefit and they're letting anybody come shop. And I'm about in the next 5 years, as many people as they can connect to a soldier, they will. They're gonna keep expanding who can shop at them. That's the only way they're gonna survive. They've gotta open it up. Any other questions for me? Because I'm almost finished my part.
I have a question. So they say, for instance, like, you're not a big restaurant like the Subway or McDonald's. Are you still able to go on base to establish a restaurant?
Absolutely. So I don't know if you were in here when I first started and I was talking about me, but I have businesses in the food industry, so snacks, and I have a popcorn shop, and I have definitely been on my local base, especially during the holiday season. I've been a contractor on a contracted vendor on my military base for years. And what we do is we do a small tabletop kiosk right there in the exchanges, and we do like holiday prepackaged packaging. And I am certain, and I'm pretty sure that they have moments in their fiscal year where they search out local vendors and small names. So you don't have to be a major brand. And in particular, the commissary has a lane for major brands, but they also have a lane for non-branded items. Yeah.
So would you suggest that the best way to get your products maybe with the exchange is to first set up online, and then online try to get into the business, and then as you grow, got your numbers tight, try and get into the commissary?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And yes, my answer to that, short answer is yes. Because the exchanges are focused more so on e-commerce platforms right now, it's less difficult point of entry. It's a less difficult point of entry. If you're doing e-commerce, it's going to be easier for you for fulfillment. You don't have to be driving around putting your products on military installation bases. You don't have to have major distribution. You don't have to have warehousing. You don't. And in the commissary, by the way, you have to provide your own shelf stockers. Just FYI. Yes, you do. Commissary, you have to have your own vendor shelf stockings. Now, there's several companies who do vendor shelf stocking, but you have to pay for that. So yes, e-commerce. I would strongly encourage everyone here to consider e-commerce. There is a program called Range Me. It's not in this presentation. Range Me. Anybody ever heard of it? If you're selling to major retailers, Range Me is kind of like a retailer's MLS, right? Let's say I'm a buyer for the exchange, or I'm a buyer for Walmart, or I'm a buyer for Target, and I want popcorn. Like that's the product that I'm looking for. Range Me, I'm gonna have my buyer's account, and I can go search every profile from a supplier who sells popcorn. So that's really what you wanna do in order to do e-commerce. The exchanges just contracted with Range Me, and now they pick up most of their suppliers from Range Me. Range Me took the place of traditional trade shows and expos like this during COVID. They started doing virtual expo spaces. So if you don't have a Range Me profile, and you are a supplier of a product trying to get in with a major retailer, I would strongly encourage you to set up a Range Me profile. Range Me. Everybody gotta say it with me. Range Me.
Is that R-A-N-G-E-M-E?
R-A-N-G-E-M-E. Yes, ma'am. And that is probably the #1 way that exchanges are finding their suppliers right now, because buyers aren't going out doing this anymore. Travel got cut, expos are limited. So if you're not on Range Me with a viable profile, I would encourage you to get that before you pursue this. So that would definitely be like, do that tonight. Set up the Range Me profile. Yes, ma'am.
Now, you said it's complicated to get in. Can you briefly explain that?
Well, anything with the government is going to be complicated. There's tons of paperwork, tons of entry points, and it's antiquated, right? How they do things is not the same as a major retailer. And so they have rules that they have to follow, and those rules can be cumbersome. And I would venture to say it probably can be a tedious 1-year process on your own, DIY. But here's my sales pitch. They said I could give one at the end of the class. So the association that I'm here on behalf of, that is what they do. That is what we do all day, every day. We support small businesses getting into the military marketplace. Now, if you come to me and say, get me in, I'm going to come to you and say, okay, I need you to have A, B, C, D, E, F. And you're going to have, honestly, you would be perfect.
Yeah, I got all of that.
You would be perfect. You know why? Because you have a history in retail already. You have proven profits in retail space already. You've got packaging good to go. You're already in a flagship store here in Vegas. You could go into whatever the base is here in Las Vegas right now, Ellis, right now. There's no reason why you couldn't, and there's definitely no reason why you shouldn't. You should do that quickly.
So I want to have some type of assistance right now to where busy, very busy. I'm incredibly busy. So to have someone to be like a broker.
Brokers,
someone,
right.
Yeah.
That is the other key word I was going to say.
Yeah, so now I'm looking for a broker right now to be to, other stores like Sally's.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for dropping in.
But to have your company, is your company a brokerage or is a broker or what?
We have brokers as a part of our membership, but we will stand in the stead of a traditional broker until you find one that's viable for you. So we'll walk you through that process, get you in, and kind of set you up. Yes. But we do have traditional brokers. We just can't call ourselves a broker. Okay? All right. The process is cumbersome. It can be overwhelming, but with our help, we kind of make it a lot better, a lot easier.
How do we get started?
Huh?
I said, so how do we get started?
I got a deal for you. All right, so here are the agencies again. Remember all those acronyms that I told you about?
Yes.
You got DECA, APHIS, NextCom, MCX, CGX, VCS. Everybody snapped it? Got it? You had to be late. You had to be late. Now it's just me again.
Can you go back to yours?
Is that what your business called?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it back up 1 second.